Hi Year 6. So this half term we're going to be focusing on collage work. I know some of us didn't quite get to finish our spray painting, but we will come back to that when we get to meet together again at school. And I'm going to be doing another video later on just to remind you of what we did, so that if you want to do our Banksy work at home, you could have a go at doing it again at home. But for now, we're going to start on some collage work, which I think is going to be really exciting. It's going to be a bit different. And later on, hopefully, it is going to link for us with our upcoming project that we were going to start on prejudice and discrimination and hate crimes, which is going to be part of our competition that the police have invited us to join in on. So first of all, let's look at our new artist. Now, I'm aware that my face is over some of the words here because unfortunately I can't move my video picture out of the way. Sorry about that. So we're going to be looking at this new artist. There's a rather crazy looking picture of him there. He's called Gustav Klimt. Let's say his name, Gustav Klimt. Now, I'm sure you will have heard of him. You may not have remembered his name, but when you see some of his pictures, I think you will remember some of his work because it's very popular and it's printed in a lot of shops now. There's lots of prints of his work, which I think you will have seen. So let's find out a bit about him. He was born in 1862 and he died in 1918. He was an Austrian symbolist painter and one of the most prominent members of the Vienna Art Nouveau movement. His major works include paintings, murals, that is massive paintings on walls, sketches and other art objects, many of which are on display in the Vienna Secession Gallery, if you ever get a chance to go to. Gustav Klimt was one of 3 brothers and 4 sisters from a creative household. He showed artistic promise from a young age and studied art through different colleges, embracing a conservative way of painting. That means traditional. It was not until the 1890s that he developed a clear style of his own. So he decided to kind of branch out a little bit and do it his way, which I think, as we've looked at different artists, is always the best way when people decide to do things in a way that suits them, to find their own niche, their own style. And that is what I hope that you guys will be doing as well as you develop. And when it talks here about him having artistic promise from a young age, well, that is some of you guys. There are loads of you in the class that are displaying artistic promise. So what we need to do is just work on it and get as good as we can possibly be by practicing. Practice makes, well, not perfect, but permanent, and practice hones and improves our skills. This is one of my favourite pictures of Klimt. This is called The Kiss, as you can see. Very romantic picture. Let's have a look at some of his other works and let's have a look at his style. Let's have a look at the type of elements he's included in his picture. This one is called A Portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer. Hygeia. Tannenwald. The Tree of Life. I'm aware that my face is right in the way here. I will have to share you this picture again during the video without my face in the way. Sorry about that. The Expectation. This is a detail from the previous picture. The Sunflower. Okay, now if you're in school, you're going to look at examples of these pictures on your tables, and we're going to think about what we notice about Klimt's style. What kind of shapes and colours are prevalent in his work. If you're at home, please pause this video and go and look back at some of those pictures and think about these questions. What colours and shapes can you see? What do you notice about his style? How do you think, what type of things does he like including in his work? Okay, so now that we've thought about that, we're going to use a viewfinder to select smaller pieces of Klimt's work that interest us. Now, for at school, we're going to draw this in our sketchbooks, But if you're at home, obviously you need to do this on a piece of paper. We're going to enlarge the patterning. So you don't need to worry about trying to draw all the details in his picture. You need to just select, as you can see in this picture here, a piece to you, and cover up the rest of the picture. So if you don't have a viewfinder at home, you just need to make the video go back to a picture that you like, over the screen of your laptop or iPad or whatever it is you're looking at. Then cover up the rest of the picture, just exposing the little element that you want to concentrate on. And then we need to draw that in our books or on our piece of paper. Now, we're going to use Collage after we've drawn it. So what I want you to do is only spend a maximum of about half an hour doing your drawing. You can spend 20 minutes if half an hour is too long. And all I want you to do is draw the linear aspect of this drawing, of these patterns that you see. So don't bother with any shading, any hatching, cross-hatching, that kind of thing. What we want to do is draw the linear shapes, the lines, the outlines of what we see, leaving gaps in between because we're going to collage in between afterwards. Have finished our drawing. We need to now collage using different papers. Collage your picture so that it represents something similar to what you've seen in Klimt's work. You can use similar colours of paper. However, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. You could use paper, you could use material, you could use string, you could use wire. To be honest, because you're at home, most of you, you need to just find something that you can collage with that represents Klimt's work a little bit. And if you don't have maybe gold wrapping paper left over from Christmas, or brown paper with some patterning on, perhaps you might have a little piece of material, perhaps you might have some interesting bright string left over from Christmas. If you have those things, fantastic, use those. If you don't have those things, perhaps you could use ordinary coloured papers, maybe some text from an old book or a magazine. Maybe you could use some more plain type of paper that you might have at home. And then perhaps if you want to use pens to add some of those gold elements afterwards, that would be fantastic. You could draw over the top of your collage once the glue has dried. If you're using Crit Stick, obviously it will dry quicker, and if you're using PVA glue, then it will take a little bit longer. So if you're gluing something down with PVA glue, then you will need to wait for that to dry before you use a pen on top of it, otherwise you will ruin your pen. However, if it's dry, then you can add paint, you can add glue, if you don't have the colours that you wish you had in terms of paper. If you do have fancy papers, then you can collage using those, but you can still overwork over the top with paint and pens and wire and things like that if you want to. I'll show you an example now so that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I have had some serious technical hitches, unfortunately, making this video. I filmed myself making the collage, but unfortunately the video has corrupted itself, so I will have to talk you through it instead of visually show you through it. I collaged in the same way that we did our Banksy collage around the edge of our pictures, by ripping and sticking. I used a book here for the sort of plain elements. Luckily I had some wrapping paper and some shiny papers that I could use for some of the other parts. It's literally a case of rip, stick, like we said, don't waste time, just do it as fast as you can in amongst the lines that you have drawn. To delineate your lines, I personally used some wool here, like lines. First of all, I used black pen, but I felt that it looked really clunky. I didn't really like it, so I went over it with the string. For some of my shapes, the more geometric shapes, I cut them with scissors. You might find cutting easier for some of it and ripping easier for some other parts, but do what you find the most easy. Now, this is a job which is going to take perseverance, and I think, having had a go at this, that I think this is too big. So make sure you only do yours A5. Make sure you use less details so that it doesn't take you too long, but don't give up. Keep going until you have done a bit of research into Klimt's style and some of his shapes that he's used. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, then I'm encouraging you to annotate around the edge like we normally do in our sketchbook. You can obviously tell me the name of the artist, Gustav Klimt, the fact that we're doing collage, and then your other annotations could be the shapes and elements that you have noticed in Klimt's work as you have been doing this. So I've written geometric patterns, gold embellishments, complex patterning, concentric circles and spirals. So any of those things that you've noticed, please annotate them around the edge. Now, don't be discouraged by this. This is artist research and we're going to use this later. So give it a go. Send me your work through the email address and enjoy it. Bye.